Hi, and welcome back to part 3 of this 3-part video series, How to Be a Stager. So if you weren't able to sit on the first 2 videos, which was an introduction to staging and where we fit in the business, the skills of staging, and now part 3, the business of staging, I want to introduce myself. My name is Catherine Lewis Brown, and I am the founder of the Successful Stager Training Programs. Now, I want to share with you some very important information about the business of staging, because when you understand how a business works as a stager, you will be very successful. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the different models you can have for business if you're a stager, and also some of the key components. Okay, so like things like pricing, how to find your clients, and also how to build the infrastructure of your business, how to do that thing like building inventory and where to put it. So we're going to talk a little bit about those things, and I'm super excited about this. Okay, so what's really key about the business of staging is the kind of model that you want to have as a business model. Now, there's a couple of different choices that you can have. You can most definitely be a staging assistant and work for another stager. You can be employed full-time. You could do the same thing working for a realtor or in a brokerage or in a realtor's office. Absolutely, for sure, you could do that. Some stagers actually work as assistants, and more than assistants actually, sometimes as the actual stager on site for builders as well, for model suites. So there's some really cool stuff that you can be able to do with your staging training. Now, what you can also do, and this is more common, is that you can also have a small business. And I say small only because that's kind of the category that we're in, because big business is massive and we're never going to be quite that massive. But we can definitely have our own small business. And that has tended to be the trend of stagers pretty much since the industry started between 15 and 20 years ago. Now, the business, though, has really evolved. When we first started as stagers, it was sort of a continuation of, fluffing pillows and getting houses ready to look good so that they would sell well. But of course, that went on for years before that. We just didn't really have a title for it. Now we have a name for it. At that point, it was kind of fluffing, but we don't call it that anymore, and we certainly don't fluff. We work very hard as stagers, and all the things that you learned in the skills of staging, and when we were talking about in video 2, those are the things that really we apply directly to our staging every day that we do for our clients. So if you are somebody who wants to work as an assistant, as I said, you can work for a realtor, you can work for another stager. You can also work as an independent contractor, and you can work as an assistant who works for several different stagers and that you get called upon. And that is really a nice job to have. You have very little overhead. You get to go and do what you love. You get to walk away at the end of the day back to your own home, and you don't own the business. So there's no responsibility for you in owning the business. You just get to do what you love, which is a pretty cool way to live your life if you want to be a stager and you love homes. Absolutely a great way. The next step is, as I said, to be an owner of a business. Now, interestingly enough, this industry has grown so much since I started in 2010. When I started, many stagers were solopreneurs. We had some inventory in our spare room or in our basement, in our garage maybe. We didn't necessarily have furniture. We didn't think about staging vacant homes particularly. They weren't really on the horizon too much at that point, although we definitely were doing them. We staged a lot of occupied homes, which means homes that people were living in. So we were using their furniture and their things that they needed that we could use in their property. We didn't really rent to anybody. And then that became more and more popular and more significant, partly thanks to HGTV and all the DIY home shows. It became more of an expectation that we would actually have inventory to rent and that we would be a full service office, a full service business. So now there are staging businesses that cover the entire spectrum. Some people just work as solopreneurs and they're really happy to be a stager. They have their training, they have some inventory that they take, and they will work for specific clients, and they love doing that. And then there are other business owners who have staging businesses who have 20,000 square foot warehouses, who make 7 figures, who stage 500 plus houses a year, who have a team of 10, who have thousands and thousands of dollars of inventory that continues to make them money. And in fact, have almost full-time buyers on staff to ensure that they're getting that. So there's some really quite the spectrum these days of where you can be as a stager and the kind of business that you can have. So that being said, some of the key pieces that will make you successful are really understanding the pricing that goes into staging and how to price well so that you're competitive. And I don't necessarily mean with your competition, but competitive so that you actually are pricing something accurately for your client so that it covers your costs and you make a profit, but that your seller also is getting a really good return on investment. And when you price well, that really happens. We are actually asking our clients to make quite an investment in staging when they work with us. We are asking them to make that investment so that they will make a good return. And quite honestly, staging is one of the best and easiest ways for a client to make a good return on investment because they should make thousands of dollars back on the value that we give. Now, part of that value will come from a consultation where we're giving them the best recommendations, the things that we know that will get them a better price. But 78% of agents will tell you that they will raise the price of their listing because they've had the property staged, because the property looks that much better once a stager has been in, given their recommendations, and then come in and done the final touches and done the actual staging or showcasing of the property, the merchandising of the property, which is using all those design skills that we talked about in video 2. So the pricing is going to be really important, and it's really important to know what your costs are as a business and how to price well. And this is one of the challenges I hear from many, many stagers as they go through the beginning parts of their business is, am I pricing okay? And that's one of the reasons that it's very important to take some training so that you are really comfortable and confident with your pricing. Now, the other thing that is also really critical for a staging business, whether or not you're a solo contractor or you are working full-time for somebody or you have a business, is to understand where to find your clients, because we have to make sure that we are marketing to the people who want to hire us. And so that's going to be very important, because if we market to the wrong people, then we are not going to have a very successful business, and we're not going to get to do the things that we love. We're not going to get to enjoy our day doing everything that has to do with houses and being able to decorate for clients who are selling their property. So it is really key that we do know that we are marketing to the right people. Now, one of the things that's really interesting about the staging business, and this kind of depends on where you are located and what your area is like, but for the most part, it's going to be agents that are going to give us the work. So we need to make sure that we are doing our best to market to the agents who will actually pay for us, the agents who see value in what we do. And so that's one of the things that you're also going to learn in training. It's also one of the things that is really important, because you don't want to waste your efforts marketing to people who are never going to hire you. So we want to make sure that we are marketing to the best people, the people who see our value, get staging, and want to continue to work with us. So that is another key component of the business of staging that you will learn as you go forward. It's a lot of fun working with realtors, and it's a lot of fun working with sellers because they are excited about what you're doing. They want to be part of it, and they believe in the value that staging is going to bring to the sale of their property, especially when you work with agents all the time who love what you do and who are consistently loyal to you, and that you can be loyal to them as well. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is like building the insides of your business. So hiring a team, building the inventory, where are you going to put it? So that's really the big key thing. So that's the fun part. So when I'm talking about having a 20,000 square foot warehouse and thousands of dollars of inventory and being able to stage 500 homes, that's on the pretty, extreme end of things. Not everybody gets to do that. But a lot of stagers will actually be staging quite a few homes in a year, and they will have quite a lot of inventory and value of inventory in their property, in their warehouse. And they will also be storing all that inventory and working out of like a great space, probably a warehouse, and it can be anywhere from 1,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet. Really depends on the stager and the size that you want to be, what your goals are as a business owner. The fun part of that is that you get to fill it with some really cool stuff. So when we were talking in the previous video about the kind of inventory that you use and the neutral colors, this is where you really get to put all those things together and really create a style that is completely yours and is very reflective of your passions and what's important to you and your style. So that's what you get to do when you're building your inventory. So building your inventory can be a lot of fun. And of course, the bigger your inventory, the more jobs you can take on, the more revenues that you can make, and the bigger your team will be. And your team can be full of those assistant stagers who work as independent contractors, or they can be a full-time team, they can be a part-time team with very specific roles. But as the industry keeps growing, so do all these things happen as well. And so do these expectations, and so does the potential for us as business owners grow as well. So that's just kind of in a nutshell what the business of staging is all about. But it's making sure, honestly, I guess in a nutshell, that we have an infrastructure in our business that is going to allow us to be able to stage for as many clients as possible and make the revenues that we should, and continue to be able to invest back into our business. And like any business, it's a lot of work in the first couple of years, but it's a lot of fun work. It's getting to do the things that you love to do, which is really lovely. So that is, in a nutshell, the business of staging. Yesterday we talked about the skills of staging, and on the previous day we talked about the where we fit in the staging industry as stagers. So now, as you get to the bottom of this video, you're going to see that link again. And if you remember yesterday in the second video, I told you that you could link onto that, click on there, and you could register and be taking free training with me. I'm offering a free training that will teach you and expand on what we learned in the last 3 videos. We're going to build on, and so that you actually have some skills and some things that you can take away and actually apply to your own staging business. That if you are ready to take that leap into a new career, that you've got the beginnings of it already. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in that free training. So don't forget to click there and sign up for the free training, and I can't wait to see you there. Otherwise, I will, if you have any questions, please just reply on one of the emails, and I would be happy to chat with you. You could also message me on Facebook. It's Catherine Lewis Brown, and I would love to set up a time and talk to you more about staging and more about the business and where you fit in it and where you want to fit in it, because I think it's such an incredible business, and I'm super excited and honored to be able to talk to you about it. All right, so have a wonderful day, and I will see you at the free training. Take care, guys.